Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more game collecting madness. We are working on PS2 games now, and I've got a lot of them, so this is going to take a while. It's a game collection that never ends, isn't it? Alright, starting off, again, PS2 titles. We've got Arc the Lad End of Darkness, Arc the Lad Twilight of the Spirits. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I've not played these games, and there's going to be several, and by several I mean many games on the PS2 list that I have not played, mostly because it is a system that is currently being phased out, so I can actually buy games faster than I can play them. So that's what I'm doing, to finish off the games that I want for that, that particular console, and these fell into it. Several places started phasing out a lot of their PS2 stuff, especially if they had the case and the manual, so I found these for very, very cheap, and since I have the Arc the Lad collection on PS1 and I like that, I figured I'd like these, but from what I can tell, they are modern interpretations, and from what I can gather, these did not get good reviews. They weren't very well received, is the best way to describe it. Next up, another series of games that I haven't played, but I really want to, and I've got a fun story about one of them. First one, Artanelico Melody of Elmia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, these names. And then Artanelico 2, Melody of Metafalkia? Yeah. This one, I actually have a funny story. I was in the mountains of my home state, or not home state, but where I'm currently residing, on my honeymoon. And on our honeymoon, we went around shopping, and I found a GameStop. I'm like, sure, I'll just pop in, why not? And they had this game, not the big box version, just the game, for really cheap. I'm like, sure, why not? You know, I kind of want the big version, but I understand it's going to be kind of difficult. We get home, and we go to our favorite used bookstore slightly afterwards, and they have the big box version. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And it's $5 more than what I paid. So I still have the receipt. I took the original back and returned it to a local GameStop, and then bought this one. I'm like, sure, why not? But yeah, I really want to play these, and I'm really glad to have the big box versions because they just look cool. And they come with a bunch of interesting stuff. Speaking of another series, I have actually played one of these. I haven't played all of them, but I've played one of them. Atelier Iris. I realized that I need to... this is Eternal Mana. Atelier Iris 2, The Azoth of Destiny. And Atelier Iris 3, Grand Phantasm. I have played one. I haven't played all the way through it, but I have played it. Again, I bought these games all in bulk. I actually had Luth track these two down for me and send them to me because they weren't anywhere in my area. But they were in his area for fairly cheap, and so I got them. It worked. So thank you for that, Luth. It's not the first or last time I'll be abusing your abilities. Next up, this game was recommended to me eons ago, and I never picked it up, and then I borrowed it, and once I borrowed it, I bought a copy for myself. Beyond Good and Evil. Fantastic 3D puzzle adventure game is just kind of the only way to describe it. It's a gorgeous game. It actually just got an HD remake, I believe, so it is still available if you get a chance. So it's available on multiple platforms. Pick it up. It is a fantastic game. I regret waiting as long as I did to get it. The only thing that came out of it is I was able to get it for cheap. Next up, this is a game that was actually recommended to me by Culix. I haven't played it. I didn't try it out when it first came out because I heard that it was so different from the other games. But Culix was like, trust me, it's good. Go for it. Breath of Fire, Dragon Quarter, and it still has a lot of sticker residue that I just can't get off, because some of it's actually on the cover art, and I hate that. I hate that with a burning passion. But, yeah, Kulik's recommended this to me, so I'm like, sure, why not? I'll try it. I haven't actually tried it out yet, but he enjoys it, and I trust his taste in games. Why, I'm not entirely sure. Next up, Capcom Classics Collection. Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2. I love these types of things. We're gonna shove so many games onto one disc that you're not gonna know what to do with it. This has the Ghouls and Ghosts. This one has Street Fighter 2, Ghosts and Goblins, Legendary Wing, Bionic Commando, Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, Section Z, 1942, Mercs, Commando, X's, Gunsmoke, Sun, Final Fight, and 8 other titles that's not even listed on the back. I bought it mostly for Ghouls and Ghosts because I love that game. I suck at that game. I've never really been able to get past either the first or second stage, depending on how lucky I am. And then Volume 2 has 20 games, ranging from the beat-em-ups to Street Fighter. It doesn't even say anywhere on here, but like Captain Commando, Knights of the Round, King of Dragons. There's the Strider game. There's a lot of stuff on this, and that's why I got them, is because there's just so many games on there that it gives. When I actually got those for the specific purpose of Let's Playing, because it's like if I ever want to Let's Play any of these games, I have them all on a huge compilation. So that's why I originally bought those. Next up, 2 games that I love, and they were some of my very early projects. Castlevania Curse of Darkness. Get it to where it's not all, blindy. Curse of Darkness and Castlevania Lament of Innocence. I love these games. These are what 3D Castlevania games should be, because there's still lots of back and forth exploring. It feels like once you get a new ability that you can actually use that ability to explore something new rather than just go to one area and use it once. Lament of Innocence to me was a really good title, and Curse of Darkness, it had really great parts to it. I really didn't like the Innocent Devil system. That just seemed a little too Pokemon-esque. But I'm actually in the process of redoing this, and I'll be redoing this as well, because the original LPs that I did, the quality were complete and total shit. So I'm actually in the process now of recording this, and then I will start on this, and they will be uploaded in the very near future again. I will probably take the old ones down, which will kind of hurt, because they do have a lot of really good views and a lot of likes and comments, but I want to do it in better quality, because it was just too dark and grainy and not easily visible. So now that I can record better, I'm going to record better, and I'm going to go back to those because I love those games, and it's just an excuse for me to play them again. Next up, Chaos Wars. This is one of those crazy JRPGs that just seems way too out there for you. Brings together heroes from Azure, Atlas, Red, and Idea Factory. Yeah, it's just crazy. By O3 Entertainment. I've played it long enough to make sure that the game worked. That's about it. But a game recommended, so. Next up, Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud 2. I actually bought this because my wife demanded it. She saw a video of it and said, "This looks adorable, I want to play it." I bought it for her. She's actually had a lot of fun with it, and then when she saw that they had a sequel, we had to get the sequel. Neither of us have actually played the sequel yet because I was waiting for her to beat this. She hasn't yet. But I'm thinking I may go ahead and just beat it so I can start on this one and see what it's like, because it looks very different. Not even just the graphics style looks different. This one looks a little more cel-shaded, but it just looks like a completely different feel to it. So next up, this is a terrible game. I was hoping that it would have been great in its lineage. Dawn of Mana. I loved Secret of Mana. I never owned Secret of Mana in a hard copy format, but I wanted to. I really did. But I never got around to it. So I picked up as many of the spin-offs as possible, like Legend of Mana. Dawn of Mana is terrible. It's Kingdom Hearts sans the whimsy. Is really the best way to put it. It's weird. I watched Culex play it for a while because he's like, I've never tried it, and it was just the platforming aspects to it were just terrible. But I had to get it because it's a Mana title. Again, I loved Secret of Mana. I remember playing that co-op with some friends of mine who actually did own the game. I was hoping, hey, this might be a good... No, it's not. No, it never is. It never is. Next up, we've got Devil May Cry. I've actually spent a lot of time playing this. Darkseid and I have played this a lot. I don't think I've beaten it. I don't remember. It's been forever since I played this, so even if I have beaten it, I need to go back and play it again. And then we've got Devil May Cry 2, which I've never played, and I've told that I can just skip, but I wanted to have all three of them. And then we've got Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening. This is not the special edition. There's two versions of this. There's this one, and the one that has either limited or special edition. The differences are, this one's harder. Because apparently when this one was localized, the Japanese hard mode became the American normal mode. So it became really hard just right off the bat. Because I'm not sure what the desire was to do that. I have no idea. None of that made any sense to me. So when they realized just how difficult this one was and how many people were actually dissatisfied with how difficult this one was, they re-released it as the special edition, in which they actually fixed the difficulty curves. They fixed a couple other bugs in it from what I've heard, but the difficulty was the big thing. I got this before I knew anything about any of that. I tracked this one down, like, oh, sure. And I'm like, oh yeah, this one is painfully difficult. Have fun with that. Like testicles in a vice difficult. So, hey, it'll be fun. I love games that are physically abusive. And, beat me and make me lie about walking into a door, because that's what it's going to do to me. It's gonna beat the crap out of me. This got really dark. I'm just going to keep going. Next up, Disgaea, Hour of Darkness. If you want it's a tactical RPG, and we know how I am about tactical RPGs. If you want a tactical RPG that is psychotic, you want a tactical RPG that is ridiculously complicated, you want a tactical RPG where you can go inside the weapons that you've currently equipped, fight a dungeon, and make the weapons better, making even more tedious fights, Disgaea is for you. I mean, this is a great game. Just the level of things that you can do in this game are insane, but it's crazy. Tiled blocks that allow chain reactions, multi-hit combos, exploding penguin creatures. Yeah. And then we've got its follow-up, Disgaea 2, Cursed Memories. I haven't played this one. I haven't. Because you spend so much time on one that you don't really want to start the other one. But I do want to start this one. I do want to get into this. Especially since there's a bunch of new stuff. More character customization, the Dark Court, stack attacks where you can stack people on top of each other, because that even gets more confusing. What? This is one of those things that just proves to me that Nippon Ichi Software is just, they're crazy, and they like doing this to see how much they can mess with their fans. Like, how much can we just screw with our fan base? So, yeah. That's part one. There's going to be like 4 or 5 parts of this. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of parts of this, because I've got a lot of PS2 games. But, yeah. We'll be back with part 2 of PlayStation Collection. Until then, later everyone.